What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Panthers Advice. Today, man, we've got some good stuff courtesy of Carolina Panthers on Charlotte Vibe. Make sure you guys go check them out, all right? Chris came through in the clutch, and he's been doing this for 10 years, right? Go look at his videos. He's been doing this for 10 years. So if you're not already, make sure you go subscribe to them because the clips they got, looking at the receivers, I mean, I thought the receiver room was going to be tough before I saw this, and I'm like, oh, I don't know who's gonna make that 53 man. So as we start this thing off, make sure you guys go check out Chris. All right, Carolina Panthers and Charlotte Vibe. But first up is gonna be Team Mac, Tedro McMillan, aka TMC. Now, I'm not gonna lie, between the clips we saw today, yesterday, and the ones back in May, whenever that was, right? He's looked smooth. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. He has looked smooth. I'm like, okay. But I don't want to overhype him too much. He's still a rookie, learning the offense, right? Learning Bryce Young. So I don't want to overhype it too much. Next up right here is an interesting one, right? Because I'm like, Hunter Renfrow. Everybody says the same thing about him. Does great versus man, does great versus zone. Him at that stem, the top of that route. He's got an arsenal of moves he's going to give somebody. I'm not saying that Adam Thielen can't do that, but I think Hunter Renfrow is a little bit quicker. I think Adam's probably a little bit smoother, right? Two different types of receivers, but both play in the slot. I got to say, when I watch Hunter Renfrow, is he going to make the team? Based on how everybody talks about him, my gut says yes. Now, it could be the same thing where Dave and Dan, they said nothing good about Jalen Walker, right? And they go and get a TMC, right? So they could be, blowing smoke, but I'm not going to lie. Everything I've seen so far looks promising, and everything I've heard so far, sounds good as well, right? So let's keep this thing going. Back to T-Mac right here. It looks like, a little out route, a little sell route right there. I love the route running, how smooth he is. But the other thing I can't stress enough is just basically going up, getting that thing with his hands, right, and then bang, bringing that thing in, right? And it's just how quick he does it. Bang, boom, 2 feet, like it's nothing. Now, again, this is just practice, right? This is just practice. But there's a lot of receivers, first-year receivers, where you get them, you're like, I don't know what we're getting out of them, right? But him right here, coming off that cut, bang, he's just smooth. I'm not going to lie. The dude is just smooth, man. And they're going to jump right back to Renfrow right here. I'm going to see if I can pause it. Let's see if I can rewind it real quick. Right here. Even in practice, I've never seen a receiver run a route within, their first 2 steps. This is what they're doing. Hunter is different, right? And that's what we have to understand. He's different. But at the same time, right here, he could go left, right, back. I mean, the dude's a joystick. He's literally a joystick. And you go back to here too real quick, which I just find this crazy, right? Take a look. This is just crazy to see within the first 2 steps, right? Not even the top of the route. Within the first 2 steps, bang, 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 bang. Hunter, he's different, man. He's different. And then we got Hunter once again right here. Again, he's just quick off the top, right? Quick off the top. Ba-ba-bang. And then we got some other receivers right here. Jalen Coker. Now, let's talk about Coker real quick. To me, Coker kind of reminds me of Adam Thielen the first year. And stay with me right here. You had DJ. You had LaVisca. You had TMJ, right? You kind of expected all those guys to do something before Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen, to me, did better than all of them, right? And it wasn't close. And he still really didn't get any respect to a point until that second year where he did it again, right? So I think that's kind of what's happening with Coker, is he did everything so well. Humble guy, mature guy, not trying to be in the spotlight, right? And I think that's kind of why some people might not really sleep on him, but don't talk about him a lot because, he comes to work, he does his job, and he goes home, right? He's not flashy at all. He does everything you need him to do and more, right? So Coker it'll be interesting to see kind of how he develops this second year right here. Now we're going to take a look at some DBs right here. And the DB is going to be interesting. I talked about this yesterday. All right, I did a live stream. I plan to do more the closer we get to the season. On the live stream, I talked about the safeties we have. We got Trayvon, we got Lathan, and we got Damani, right? And it's kind of like, how do you play them? What I would like to see, and this can only happen, right, if the Panthers get a lead, right? Because they're not going to come out in this formation or this scheme if the team's going to run the ball. And where I'm going with this is basically a dollar package, right? So the way Trayvon and Lathan play, you can kind of play them strong safety, free safety-esque, right? And then Damani, to me, can kind of almost play that same thing, right? You drop one to a nickel, and you got two safeties over the top, right? So if they try to go short, bang, any of these safeties can pop somebody. And then you got two safeties in the back too, right? So that's something I'm interested in potentially seeing is, we always talk about who's going to be the starting two safeties. I want to get to a point where we potentially see all three of them on the field at once. I mean, let me know your thoughts on that. And obviously, if they're coming out like a 5-receiver set and they're going pass heavy all the time, a little bit different. But if Vero can drop the right scheme, ooh, man. And then speaking of, oh, man, Jimmy Horn right here, Mr. Quick Feet. This is going to be one where the first deep pass that goes to him, it's like all eyes are on him, right? It's like the stadium, all the lights shut off. It's a spotlight over the top, and everybody's going to be watching to see what Jimmy Horn does, right? And maybe the first one, I don't want to say it. I don't want to put that out there, right? But you guys get where I'm going. Him with the deep ball is something everybody is looking forward to. I mean, the quick feet, it's just insane. And maybe it's not a deep ball. Maybe it's an out route. He makes the first guy miss. Ooh, he's off to the races, man. All right, TMC, I think behind him too. He's got quick feet. And let's talk about Raheem real quick. Raheem, to me, and this is going to be an interesting comparison I'm going to make. Actually, I won't do that one. I hope the Panthers actually use him this year. I think, last year he didn't get his first snap, and it was late in the season. They never really used him. I hope they find a place for him. Yes, his pass blocking is terrible. I get that. But if you're keeping him on the team, I think we got to find some. He's good, right? His acceleration, he gets up to speed like that. We've got to find something for him, I think. Now, in Dave's smash mouth offense, is there, maybe, maybe not, right? That's why you have Chuba. That's why you have Rico. Two kind of good backs for the kind of that smash mouth offense, right? So that, and you add Trevor too. Well, we'll see what happens with Raheem, man. But even with that being said, all right, we got Mr. Jimmy Horn right here. So we're not done yet. And who's going to be after Mr. Jimmy Horn right here? Take a wild guess. All right, Mr. Hunter Renfrow. That boy's gone, right? He's quick off that line. Jimmy's fast, but Hunter's quick. He's quick, and this is what, Jacoby George, I think, right here? Yeah. Jacoby is not, oh, man, it's going to be tough. If I had to pick between Jacoby and George and Kobe Hudson, I might go Kobe. That's tough too. But now let's talk about some D-line real quick. Let's talk about the D-line. I'm excited to see what this front seven can do. Right? I'm excited. I don't think, or boy, I hope it isn't as bad as last year. Because if it is, we won't even talk about that, right? But I'm excited. I think they built up that line, right? Defensive tackles, ends, you got edges. Inside linebacker, we'll worry about that when we get there, right? But as far as creating pressure, I think the Panthers did a good job, right? Now, it all comes down to scouting, right? Was Tershawn Wharton a good fit? Did Bobby Brown make sense? You draft Nick, you draft Princely, and Princely, man, he's been playing with some fire at practice. Now, you go back and forth, him hitting Bryce Young, and then Dave Canales said that he looked at the tape, things kind of happened, kind of fast time, so it was hard for him to kind of slow down and react and whatnot, right? But Princely's playing with fire. I like that right there. Nick Scorton, DJ Wanham, Patrick. I mean, the Panthers have weapons on the outside. On the outside of the D-line, they've got weapons, right? And we're going to find out just how good they really are. All right, Bryce Young, Be Young, Ice Bryce back at it. Shout out Kwan right there. But Bryce, TMC, Jimmy Horn, Thielen, Coker, Leggett. It's going to be interesting this year. And who I'm most excited to potentially see is Trevor Etienne. Now, Chuba can, he can break out runs. But if you get Trevor in the backfield and he makes a couple of guys miss, he might be gone. But with all that being said, make sure you guys go check out Carolina Panthers on Charlotte Vibe. Subscribe to them. Like I said, they've been doing this for 10 years. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take it easy. Panthers Devices out. Peace.